we asked you for questions. We got a ton, but first off, I just wanted to give you a little bit of history on why we're here with these wonderful boxes. All right, so in a show of hands, Dev, will you be my lovely assistant here?
See what I can do.
Who has their business on Yelp? All right, it's like 30%. Who's doing email marketing? All right, 20%. LinkedIn, posting regularly, not just having an account. 0%, all right. Here's one, everybody will get this. Who's got a business Facebook page? Check. Who's posted in the last week? All right, that's okay. Who has a YouTube channel? Who has a heart for Kyle? Yeah, I know, I get a lot of this. In fact, we're a lot of this right now. We're getting ours kind of revamped at the moment. So you're in good company. Who knows their analytics? Yeah, nobody even likes this box. Google Plus absolutely failed. You shouldn't have this at all.
But you need it.
We'll replace that with Google Maps logo one day because you definitely want to be building your Google reviews, right? But Google Plus, like, I don't even know what that's about. Who's got Twitter? All right. Some of the farmers guys do. Mr. Collision. All right, who's doing SEO? This is a big one. No? Who can afford to do SEO? No, I'm just kidding. All right, so we got SEO. Who has a responsive website? Who knows what a responsive website means? Like when you pick up on a phone, are you, Matt, you still doing that number on the Leamy site? You don't think so? Yeah, all right, let's get on it. All right, we want to make sure that nobody's doing the pinching and zooming because if they are, you're causing car accidents, all right? Because we all, come on, who's using their cell phone still in the car? All right. Who has, like, managed local listings? Who's got directory listings and making sure that their information is consistent across the internet? All right. Your business information consistent across the internet. Nobody? Nobody? Like, all right. We'll talk about that one,
yes.
All right? That's an easy one to do. It's very cheap, and it's what you should do first. So, and then, of course, you guys are all business owners. You're all rocking out businesses. So you can imagine that these are just some of the boxes we could have brought, and you can see the kind of hectic mess you're in. I used to, back in the day, I traveled with a guy named Ben Tyson. He works at Google, and when he would get on stage, he would say, you need to be everywhere all the time. And every business owner in the room's like, eyes just, like, I can't, I can hardly run my company, let alone, I'm looking for a marketing guy that can do what you're talking about. I can't do it. Because either you have the money to do it, the time to do it, or the desire to do it, and most people don't have all three, right? So I always feel bad when we were on stage, because like, I would tell people, I'm the only one in here with one job. You guys all have your businesses, right? You got history to worry about. You got cars to worry about. I only have you guys to worry about, but you also worry about what I'm worried about in marketing your business and growing your business. So what we thought we would do, we knew the rock would be loud, we knew it would be kind of hectic, and we thought we'd be down there because I didn't know this existed. So we didn't do a PowerPoint. Instead, we thought we'd do what we like to call free gold. So if you check out our YouTube channel or our Facebook channel, you'll see that you can submit questions to us, and then we answer them on a video for you. So you can submit those. We'll get you the website address later if you ever have a question, or you can email us directly. But that way we can really get to the heart of your concerns. And there are quite a few of them, right? So that's what we'll do for a little while. These are all questions that come from you, or really the Troutdale Strip, because we walked that real quick and got as many business owners as we could to give us theirs. It's really weird walking into a business like, what's your one burning marketing question? It's like, what are you selling, So we only got 3 out of 25, but we did the work. All right, so I don't know, round robin, you take it. If it's a hard question, Devin's gonna take it. If it's easy, I'll take it. What's the most cost-effective method for marketing?
The one that works the best. If we're talking inexpensive, I would say social media. Social media is going to be the least expensive form of advertising, although Facebook is changing the algorithm if you have a business site. So it will, actually it has already begun to start costing business owners more money to get in front of their target audience as well as their own current audience. So there are some ways to go about it. Instagram is exploding right now, so great use of, I guess, social media would be to go through Instagram if I had to answer that with one fell swoop. But I would say social media overall is probably going to be your entry point for spending the least amount of money and getting the most amount of views. Now, really quick to that degree, you have to be intentional with it. So you can't just have one. You can't kind of post sometimes. You need to make sure that you have a plan behind what you're posting and how often you're posting.
And we have like 17 cards on social media, so I'm sure we'll dive into more detail on that. The one thing I would tell you guys is when we said who's managing their local listings, nobody's hand went up. Basically what we're talking about is when you're doing SEO, the platform, the basics of that is Google knowing who you are and where you are, right? So, you know, Paul, you have a physical location, you do farmers insurance, but you know that, Google doesn't know that. So you want Yelp, Google, Bing, Yahoo, MapQuest, Siri, we're talking to our devices, right? So we want Alexa Home. If you're looking for a haircut, you want to be able to just say, hey Siri, find me a local stylist, right? All of that kind of stuff. We have a product that's like $100 a month that gets all of that done for you. And if you move locations, we just simply go into the account, flip a script, and now you're in a new location on Google across the board. And Google knows exactly where you are, right? So just keep that in mind. That is something that every business should have.
It helps when somebody is searching for your services rather than the name of your business.
Yeah, that's why it's not necessarily marketing, but it's definitely like, have you ever searched for somebody, got a referral for somebody, you search for their name, you still couldn't find them? You know, that's what that's all about. And for crying out loud, if somebody knows you by name and they're looking for you, it's only a matter of time before they still choose somebody else. Because we're expecting to find you if we know you by name. Okay, here's a great one. What do you tell people who can't afford, or I think it's
Qualify.
Or qualify for your service? Oh,
Yeah. So
well, if they can't qualify for your service, I guess they're just out of luck.
If they don't, yeah. But the biggest thing is if somebody can't afford our service, a service, one of the things that I tell all of our potential clients is that we have paid and unpaid clients. And what I mean by that is we have clients that work with us that we continue to do ongoing marketing for, and we have clients that don't pay us anything, and we still will help them, whether it be showing them how to set up a Facebook account or coming to us with a question like, I don't have the money to do marketing full time with you guys, what can I do on my own? Yeah. So we don't have a problem strategizing with potential and what I like to call our unpaid clients to help them kind of get over the hump to get to a point where A, they either have the capability and means to afford us, or B, can at least know that we're in their corner and we do a good job so that they can refer us if they come across somebody else that needs our services.
Devin used the word intentional earlier, and I think that when you talk about somebody who can't afford your service, I can't afford a lot of things, right? I mean, I can't afford a Ferrari. I drive a Ford, right? I want to be able to afford that. I just can't physically pay for it. A lot of people can't afford your services, but that doesn't mean that you're going to lower the quality to get them in. They're just not the right fit for your business. And I think you have to be really intentional about how you're marketing to people, because there are certain people that are going to be a great fit for you and certain people that are not. We talked earlier, Sally, about working with your marketing person and actually having them approve what they're sending out to make sure that it's on message, it's on point. There's nothing wrong with being, Jay, I'm not sure where your price points are, but I do know where your certifications are, like up here, right? So I'm assuming your price point is also not the lowest in town. That's okay, because he provides a level of service that justifies those prices. I wouldn't be scared to tell somebody, hey, it's okay if you can't afford our services. We have 5-star service, and that's all right, But make sure your branding is consistent along with that so that you're reducing the amount of people you have to say that to. All right, how can we improve our digital storefront presence?
I think that...
Well, these are too loaded. These are the bomb. I actually saw these questions. I want to throw them out, but you're here, so I couldn't do it. How do we effectively market today? Thanks, Glenn, for this one. And then how do we improve our digital storefront? There's a lot of boxes over here, right, guys? And so I think the big thing is determining, well, actually, Randy, you asked this in a whole different way 2 weeks ago. I'm a new business, what do I do? There's so much to do, right? The first thing I would tell you is if somebody can't search you by name, you have problems. Your company really doesn't exist. Once they find you by name, what kind of a brand representation are they going to get about you? The statistics are staggering, guys. 92% of people are making up their mind about your business with 3 online reviews. That's it. We make quick judgments because we don't know who you are, we don't know your story. All we know is your homepage. Right. Did it load fast? Did it look nice? It doesn't have to be the Taj Mahal, but it's kind of like in high school when I was driving that beater. Jennifer wouldn't even talk to me, right? It's better to just get the Honda Civic, be neutral, so that the smog isn't entering our conversation. You don't have to be driving an Escalade, right? But make sure you're not putting that beater out online. Just take it down. Put a coming up soon sign that looks nice. Yeah. But don't make sure you're hurting yourself.
Yeah, it's the first chance you get to really capture a client, and you're shooting yourself in the foot by not having a website. Over 80% of people find a business uncredible if they don't have a website. So make sure that you get something set up, and not only that, make sure you take the time to put it together the right way.
The other thing is when we had the box for knowing your ROI, knowing your analytics. My dad was on a hike with a friend in Mount Hood, and he said, yeah, I just built a website. And he goes, oh, how many people visit it? I have no idea. How many people visit it and leave right away? I have no idea. So whatever it is that you're going to do, and we can definitely give you that progression of what we think your business should be doing, make sure that you're measuring it to see if it's actually working. And the way that you can do that, Glenn, I think the real answer to your question here is how do you effectively market today? It's get in, understand that it's not going to be fast. You have to give it some time to get some stats, right? You need that data. So if it doesn't work in a week, don't freak out. We have people that freak out, and it's like it hasn't even gone live yet. It goes live on Monday, When it goes live, give it time to work. Your marketing professional should be able to tell you, in 2 weeks we should know. In 3 months we should know, depending on what kind of thing you're doing, right? If it's not working based on your analytics, scrap it, right? Henry Ford said, be slow to make change, be quick to make implementation, right? Make sure it's not working and then get rid of it and move on to the next thing. And we have a question coming up later that's about what social media platforms should I be on? The answer is not all of them, really. If you're having a general conversation with this many people, the answer is don't be on every social media platform. Find out where your audience is at. Mm-hmm. And then know how you want to appeal to them with an intentional plan, right? And then make it happen. And that way, you're actually going to put yourself in a better position on less. Like, for instance, we have a really a big apparel company. And so I'm like, we should do some Facebook Live. And they laughed at me. And they're like, dude, 90% of our stuff comes from Instagram. Why would we do Facebook Live? It's like, okay, cool. It was our first meeting. I didn't have the data. But he knew the data. And he knew, hey, I'm also going to steer my marketing guys in the way I want them to go because we already know where our audience is at. So
yeah, play to your audience.
Play to your audience. All right, what can we do to attract clients to buy art? Lower your prices. Lower your price. Your art is amazing. Just lower your prices. Oh, no. Art's one of those interesting things. I think that it gets into more of a specific strategy per business. But Rip Caswell is our landlord, so I've been spending time in the Now Quilt shop. No, but when he had a gallery, he did a lot of commission pieces. I think oftentimes we need to realize, just like we said before, where's your audience? If they're not searching for you online, don't be online. If they're searching for you more in a social media capacity, I would be on Instagram personally if I was selling art, right? And I would also be advertising on Instagram with an audience targeted around the type of people that would like my artwork, right? People that are traveling to the Northwest, etc. And we can help you create those target markets so that you can put ads to them.
Yeah. Things like Google AdWords, I think would be a good one.
It's a good opportunity, though, to talk about the fact that sometimes businesses don't need what other businesses need. And so a business owner will be at lunch with another business owner, and they're like, hey, you're doing that? Oh, I need to be on there. I'm not on Twitter. And they go back and they figure it out and try to figure it out, and then they have no luck with it. Why? Because they should have never been there in the first place. So don't do what everybody else is doing. Do what would work for your business. And that leads us to another thing. Don't talk to a sales guy find somebody who's unbiased, right? Like Devin said, we have a ton of unpaid clients, and I love them all because eventually they will be, or eventually they'll be successful enough to be, or they'll be so successful they won't care, and we'll just get a review from it, right? But either way, we all win. It just needs to be, you want to be careful of the companies you choose, because if they only have 2 or 3 products, they're going to push you to those products, no matter what you're actually having the conversation about. All right, buddy, you got this one? Can I do this, or should I hire somebody should they hire somebody, or should they do it themselves?
It comes down to, like Mark said, one of 3 things: time, desire, and money. If you want to do it, you have the time to do it, and you can afford to give up that time and the money to do it, then by all means, if you're capable, tackle it.
Caveat question.
Yeah.
This person wants to do it. They want to know, how much time and money should I pour into doing it?
Oh.
Are you guys sitting together?
It depends on what you're doing. So to give you an idea, for our AdWords, Google pay-per-click, or Google Ads, I spend probably an hour roughly per campaign, so per client, and we right now carry about 18 clients. So, and that's usually, it's about 18 hours a month, if not a little bit more, that I'm going through just to make tweaks and adjustments and look through the data on the campaigns. I mean, web design, I think our average website in terms of hours to effectively build, you're looking at 25 to 30 hours there. So as you can see, it adds up quick. To do local listing management on your own, so to go to Google, to go to Yahoo, to go to Bing, to go to Yelp, and realistically set up a profile well enough that it will become visible, you're looking at about an hour per location. So that's an hour for Google, an hour for Yahoo, an hour for Bing.
It's only 2 weeks straight.
Yeah, so yeah, after about 2.5 weeks straight of you devoting all of your time, effort, and potential money into that, you can have an effective campaign.
Yeah, that's not bad.
So yeah.
Can you guys go to?
Is there a way to change one site and have it ricochet to all the additional sites?
Yeah, so that's the service that we have.
That would have saved me like
Yep.
an hour.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you've been through it. Yes, and the service we provide does exactly that. We go to one location, it updates it on 70 plus.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that alone.
Yeah, that's just to get it started. If you
Yeah.
make a change, it's 2.5 more weeks. So, Jay, what's up?
Doing your own optimization.
Yes. But I tried to group these in like mental spaces.
But to effectively go back and answer the question, could you do it yourself? Yes, you could. And again, if you want to do it, you have the time to devote to it, by all means, you can effectively do it if you're willing to work a few extra hours, either mornings, nights, or weekends.
YouTube.
So,
You can YouTube it. Right?
for the same reason, I could fix my car if it broke, but I'd rather take it to Jay and go make money doing what I do.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry, stories are popping in my head of people who do it on their own. We do usually get them back as clients. Sorry. Best story ever, real quick. We had a gal tell us, no, you don't need to build our website. Our client's going to build our website for free. Hairstylist, going to do some trade. And I said, that's awesome. Okay, great. Is he a web designer? No, he's a prison guard. Oh, that changes things a little bit in my mind.
It gets better.
But then she said, well, don't worry, he's not doing it. He's going to teach his daughter how to do it. She's 16 and wants to get into this as a career one day. So I'm like, so you're having a prison guard's daughter. Okay. All right, cool. It was a hairstylist in Salem. Yeah. We went back a month later to see how it was going, but they weren't in business anymore. It was just an empty space. So that is sad but true. Yeah. Okay. So this is basically Randy's question from a couple weeks ago. What's the best advice you would give to a new business? And what's the advice you give to an older business? And are they the same piece of advice?
I'll let you answer that one.
Here's the deal, guys. I think that there's a checklist. Yes, everybody has a little different nuance to their business and what they should be doing or shouldn't be doing. But there is a checklist. Like, can you find yourself by name, right? Can you find yourself, when you type in your name, is there only one listing? right? We don't have any real estate agents here, but you don't think of yourselves just as a marketing person. You're really a real estate agent in the digital age. Because when you search for yourself by name, you want to make sure that you own that page, right? Your YouTube, your Facebook, your LinkedIn, your website, the managed local list. I mean, it should be 4 pages before anybody who searches PDX Auto Body Express sees anything but Jay, right? But so many businesses are like, but I can see myself by name. You're like 3rd on the list, and you're the only. That's all you got. It's not good enough if that's all by name, and that's a symptom that if they search for what you actually do for a living, which is really what people are doing, right? They're not searching for you by name. They're searching, I just got in a car accident, I need a collision specialist. So if you're not there by name, you're definitely not going to be there by your service, right? So it is the same advice for a new company and an old company. It's just that older companies may have more boxes checked off already, and hopefully they got on mission in the beginning and they were intentional about checking those boxes, so that when you look at their Facebook and you look at their YouTube and you look at their website, it doesn't look like 3 different people built them, right? We got to see what Jay looked like in, what was that, the 70s? Yeah? And then, we won't bring up the other photos we saw, like, but you guys were very attractive, I'm just saying. But it's like, well, if you get this Jay and you get that Jay, but, you know, in one day, not 30, you have an excuse. But, you know, it's like, wait, who am I getting? What business am I actually getting here? This looks okay. This looks like it was never updated. It's just not consistent, right? It's not part of the brand message. All right, I love this one. This is your baby right here. You love that one.
How can I convert clicks to calls? Well, if we're talking Google AdWords, and I don't know whose question this was, but if we're talking Google AdWords, are we talking AdWords or are we talking website? AdWords? Okay, so if we're talking AdWords, you're going to want to look at a couple of things.
You have call recording.
Are you utilizing call recording?
See how many times I can step on his toes during this question.
Okay, so call recording is one of the first things that I would recommend doing. So a lot of times it's either implementing a tracking number. Well, it is implementing a tracking number. Do you have click to call set for the ads? Okay, so that's another thing I would do. More now than ever, people are searching from a mobile device than their computer. I do it all the time, but how many other people will sit in front of their desk, be on their phone with their computer right in front of them, right? And so you want to make sure that you have click to call set up so that when somebody is searching for you from a mobile device, they don't have to click any further than a phone number and then they're already on the phone with you. So that's one big thing that I would do.
Don't do that.
Okay, yes, and that's the other thing. AdWords Express gives you a very limited capability of some of the things you can do. You want to, you're swimming in the kid pool.
Brian, go home and pause.
And you need to go jump into the,
AdWords Express, if anybody's ever heard of it or used it, is the worst thing Google has ever done for small businesses, because they went out and they said, we have a very profitable platform with Google AdWords, and it's great, right? Because I get to search, if I don't have a dentist because I just moved to the area, and I search that I want a dentist in Troutdale, I might be going to Troutdale Dental, right? I mean, that is a linear progression that works every time. And Google said, well, hey, we need to make it easier for people to do this without marketing professionals. But the problem is, they get paid per click. So they don't care how many clicks you get, or they don't care how many phone calls you get, they just care how many clicks you get. So AdWords Express, I'll give you guys this. If you don't know what we're talking about, it's like the simple version of AdWords, right? Or when you see those 3 ads. The default parameters of location settings is the US.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, they do let you.
They let you customize it, but do you know how many clients I've seen that are like still set to the United States? And it's like, my $50 isn't going anywhere. Well, yeah, it's going to Mississippi.
You'll get more customization going to AdWords directly than you will, and you'll be able to effectively do some of the things that we're talking about. So feel free to, we can connect after and I can tell you a little bit more about
Google, I know you listen to all of our videos, cancel AdWords Express. No, they won't do that. In fact, that's like the default of how every campaign gets set up now, right? And then you got to get out of it. So that's the direction they're pushing everybody. Okay, how can I tell if it's actually working? Google Analytics and call tracking. Those are the 2 best, quick, easy, down and dirty ways that you can tell if something's working. Do you guys all have Google Analytics accounts set up?
Or some sort of analytics set up to your website?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
All right, cool. Check that on a regular basis. Let me just tell you this. one of the things, if you're looking at it, you're probably all looking at your traffic, right? And you're like, okay, I got 1,000 people this month. I had 800 people last month. I'm doing good. Look at your bounce rate. Anybody know what a bounce rate is? Okay, sweet. I'm going to tell you something that you're going to really, if you don't take anything else away, this is a good one. The bounce rate statistic is crucially important. Let's say you have 1,000 people to your website and your bounce rate is 80%. That means that of 1,000 people, 200 people stuck around for more than 8 seconds. So, like for instance, we started doing SEO for a tree company in Vancouver, right? And he's got more than 1,000, well, we'll just keep it. He had an 80% bounce rate. Within a month of web design work, he had a 25% bounce rate. So we didn't have to do any optimization, and he immediately got 3 times the phone calls because his website didn't suck anymore. I mean, it was terrible. That thing was, I wouldn't let you in my backyard with a chainsaw. Okay, if you're listening, it looks good now, Greg. I mean, I love it. Okay, what's the cheapest way, I forget we're on video. What's the cheapest way to get my name out there? We manage local listings, we covered that, yeah. Do that, call us, we can get your name out there. Very cheap. What are your costs? Example, what for like a materials, video, etc. We have a lot of costs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
have a lot of services. They all cost money.
I was gonna say we have a lot of services, so, and it varies. Everything we build is kind of custom. Obviously, we have some set parameters, but we try to build everything around each specific client's needs. So, what one person might need or is paying is going to be separate from somebody else.
Here's a good way to say it. Yeah. When we first started, I mean, a lot of our clients were in the $6,000 to $10,000 range for a website. And Devin came in and he goes, well, you're alienating. I guess this goes back to the first question, right? What if somebody can't afford my services, what do I do? Well, you either tell them pound sand because we have 5-star service and we're not coming down, or you learn how to give 5-star service for less of a price, right? So we actually have websites now. We still have our, kind of the pinnacle of what we do, but shout out. But we also now have $1,000 websites, $750 websites, because we never wanted price to be an issue. And we wanted, our goal at the end was to say, if we had a $1,000 client or a $10,000 client, yes, this website would be bigger, but we wanted you as users to go, I can't tell which one's which. Who paid more? I mean, if you looked at the menu and you saw this had 40 pages, you'd know, but just
from initial glance.
In the presence of what it looks like. So what should I measure? Guys, you notice that you're asking a lot of the same questions over and over? Like we all have them. Google Analytics and get call tracking. We can help you set up call tracking.
Depending on your business, pick a couple of KPIs or key performance indicators, whether that be calls, conversions, like what is the purpose of your website? So those metrics, Google Analytics, yes, will help kind of dive into what it looks like, but make sure that you're measuring the analytics that fit your business best. Somebody that wants to drive phone calls heavily, you're going to be looking at how many calls am I getting from this, or how many forms are being filled out for appointments, as opposed to how many people are, simply clicking on a specific section of the site. So you want to make sure that you have your key performance indicators, and that's what you're using Google Analytics to measure, along with bounce rate and some of the main data.
So we're halfway through, it looks like. Go for it, run. You're good.
Where are we at on
Are
time?
we derailing? Are we doing good? Is this helpful at all? If it's not helpful, you could just shout out, hey, that wasn't helpful. Could you, that was my question. Can you dig deeper? Yeah, so how important is social media? I know we talked about this. I will tell you this. If you guys are out there and you're posting on Facebook, like, the picture of a turkey, happy Thanksgiving, and you're getting 17 people to look at it and 1 person to like it, and it's your sister-in-law, then don't even worry about updating your Facebook page, right? With Google, or with Facebook having to change their algorithms a couple of months ago, it's really important now to put a couple of dollars behind. Maybe have a $25, $50 budget to just advertising on Facebook a little bit more, so that you have some money going out behind those posts. And it's funny, when we tell people you should have some advertising dollars behind your Facebook posts, then you start to see their posts change. Now all of a sudden it's not a picture of a Christmas tree, happy holidays. It's an ROI generating post that's connected to a blog, that's connected to a call to action, that's connected to a discount, that's connected to a client coming to your business. So again, make sure that as you're doing this, you're missional, right? You're intentional with what you're posting and what it's supposed to be doing once somebody sees it. How often should they make an update to their website?
I'll let you go with that one.
Every day. No, since we do websites, in the beginning, we sold maintenance for websites, right? And they didn't include changes. So if you wanted to include a change, you just pay an hourly rate for that. And guess how many of our clients made changes to websites? Big fat donut, right? So we said, let's just give everybody a free hour across the board. So you're free to roam. If you have a new employee, if you have a change of hours, if you have holiday hours, if you have anything, you can update it. Because we know how important it is to put fresh content on a website. So I would say make sure you're doing it at least 3 times a month. That would be great. But once a month is the minimum. Make sure you're doing something to your website. A blog, I think we're gonna get there, right? Mm-hmm. A blog is a great way to do that. You have 3. It works, right? We're gonna get. I'm gonna call Jay up here in 2 minutes. We got blogging questions coming up. Tips on reaching a diverse audience and potential
Customer base?
customer base.
It's kind of a broad question. Tips on reaching.
A diverse audience.
Again, I think it just comes down to the type of business, finding out what that audience is, and then finding the best fit that will reach out to that. I mean, it could be Google Analytics, or excuse me, it could be pay-per-click, Google AdWords, it could be Facebook marketing, Instagram marketing, SEO. It just really varies on what the business is, where your audience lies, and the best way to reach out to them.
Okay, so this is a really good one. I don't know who wrote this, but this is near and dear to our hearts. Why do I need a custom website? I have a Dex website and it's just fine, right? Who has a Dex website in here? Watch, no hands are gonna go up. Yeah, nobody wants to take credit. I see how it is. Okay, we'll just go. We'll find it. No. So we came from a company called Haibu. That's Dex's biggest competitor. These are directory companies, right? So your Weebly's, your Wix's, your Web.coms, where we were dealing with massive amounts of clients, massive amounts of strategy, not getting to actually spend time with one company for hours and hours on end. So we were like in the McDonald's of marketing. And that's why we got out, because we knew that it wasn't effective. But I think this question is timely because we just got off the phone with a colleague of ours from Haibu that's up in Washington, and he wanted to get out and start his own business, and so he's asking our advice. And he said, well, when I get out, I want to do optimization, but I'm going to continue to sell them Haibu websites because I know them, and they're easy, and the changes are free. And D, if you're watching the video, I apologize. But it's not the right move, right? But you have to understand, guys, there's a mindset behind every sales guy, behind every product that you don't know about, right? So you have to find somebody that you trust that's actually giving you the best possible product out there. We just changed our hosting up to a company called WP Engine. If you know them, look up them. They're the #1 hosting company in the country. They're 17 times more expensive than anyone else. Our websites immediately were 300% faster. But
I didn't mean to interrupt, but I was going to say, I think the easiest way to answer this is anytime you go with a directory site, a do-it-yourself site, a lot of times you have templated options to choose from, right? So you're getting a uniformed look. So if there's 10 people in here, utilizing 4 different templates or even 2 different templates, you're going to have the same business with the same look. The only thing that's going to differentiate you is going to be your content, your photos, and your colors. Other than that, it's all the same. So when we build something custom, it's something that's not only built around your website, but it's also built to convert. A lot of these do-it-yourself sites are not built to convert, and people that are building them themselves or going with directory sites that are uniformed, they have to look a certain way. So you can't drive a client through a specific experience. You get the same experience. Having a website that is built to convert is the #1 purpose to having a website, unless you're a nonprofit and you just want to give out some really good information. But I always like to tell people, especially our clients, we build websites that convert, because if your website doesn't convert, it's just an expensive piece of art. And we don't build that. We leave that up to the professionals. So make sure that when you're looking into a web developer, you have clear, ask them, what are the plans for clear call to action? How does this website drive me to the page start to finish? Things like that. And that's really the biggest difference between a directory or a do-it-yourself site and having something custom built.
when I gave you guys the tree service example where they had an 80% bounce rate and we were able to go on and redesign their site to a 25% bounce rate, we wouldn't have been able to do that if they had a directory site because it's a template. So you're just like, well, that template's not working for you. And the company that sold it to you is not going to change your template, right? I mean, that's what you got. So do they need a blog? Jay, do they need a blog? Jay's got 3 blogs, so I think we know his answer. Definitely
See?
needs a blog.
Easy enough.
Guys, I graduated as a creative writing major, and at graduation, my teacher was like, hey, thanks for playing, but good luck finding a job. But today, it's like writers are dominating today because SEO is all about, it's no longer about the ones and zeros as much as it is about the conversation,
yep.
right? And making sure that you have legitimate, valuable information for your audience. And that's done through writing. We have, just to give you guys an idea, we have just as many writers at Cornerstone as we do designers. So, I mean, you gotta do it. Nice job, Jay. Your 3 blogs, that's awesome. Okay, how do they get really fast results? You knew this question was gonna be in here. Hey, how do I do this yesterday?
Yeah. Well, that helps.
You're right.
Start earlier. No.
Randy did it yesterday. I know that.
Have a plan. There's a couple of different areas that you can do to ramp things up. But like Mark said, a lot of it takes time. You're going to need to see some analytics, some data before you can make some effective changes. But things like pay-per-click is a great way to get your name out immediately. Social media, same thing. So there are some things that will help right away. But yeah,
it's kind of I don't know. This might be a negative thing to say, but like, I love helping businesses thrive. I'm not really a fan of helping businesses survive.
Yep.
Because when businesses, and you guys all know people like this, probably have seen this in your business lives, where you see a business and they're like, we're not spending any money on marketing. Oh no, our client base isn't here anymore. Our revenue's tanking. We don't have the cash flow we need. And they just get into survival mode. And those are typically the businesses that want to make long-term products that work really well for their competitors, work for them in a very small amount of time. It just doesn't work like that. So one thing I would definitely caution you is just make sure that you constantly have a marketing plan. Mm-hmm. As a business owner, you are a salesperson no matter if you want to be or not, and you are a marketer whether you want to be or not. And you need to be doing that on a daily basis, knowing that your business has a consistent mission, and whether you're the one doing it or you have somebody else implementing it, they're on mission too. And that means, Sally, they're asking for your approval, I agree with you, before they post on Facebook so that they actually know your product inside and out and they're not misrepresenting your business.
Ooh, this is my favorite.
All right, there you go.
I think the next question is the same one too. Pretty close.
That is the same question.
So, SEM versus SEO. We get this question all the time. We actually just did our last free gold video.
Who knows what it is? Who
knows what SEO is? Raise your hand. Okay,
all right.
Half the room maybe. Who knows
Maybe
what
this
SEM is?
Right?
Okay, so search engine optimization, SEO, versus search engine marketing.
We should just call it Google Ads.
Or Google Ads.
Right.
So SEM, Google Ads, is the sprint. It is the light switch of marketing for your business. You can pick your targeted area, pick your targeted audience, pick how much you want to pay, and hit go, and your ads are out there.
Yeah.
That's kind of the dumbed down easiest way to explain it. SEO is the marathon. It is going directly to the search engines, giving them the content that they're looking for, things like writing blogs, making sure that you have enough information and correct information on your pages for your website that line up with keyword searches that people are using. The easiest way to decide which one to do, because the best answer, if you can afford both, is to do both. Yeah. Do you have the capital to effectively spend $500 to $1,000 a month and not see a return on it for about 3 months? If the answer to that is no, then immediately we want to look to go to Google Ads or SEM. And the reason behind that, again, is just the ramp up time for SEO is quite a bit longer than it is with SEM.
Yeah. You know, one thing you guys need to know is that if you ever go to a marketing company, you ask, hey, we're open to SEM and we're open to SEO. We're open to doing Google Ads, we're open to doing SEO. They're always going to push you into SEO because they make 100% of those dollars. So if you have, a $3,000 budget on Google Ads, Devin and I make $100, $200. Google makes $2,800. So you'll find a lot of companies that may push you towards doing an optimization strategy because if it's a $3,000 budget, they get $3,000 for their company, right? So we see that quite a bit where they're hurting because they needed cash flow today, but now they're stuck into an optimization contract and they're not seeing any results. And they weren't told that it's 6 months to a year to really ramp that stuff up.
Last couple of questions.
Yeah. Do I need a professional writer?
You already talked about that one. The answer is yes. Like Mark said, more now than ever, content is king. So things like blogs, having good informative content and information on your website.
You know, one thing I'd say to this is like a lot of us are good writers, right? My wife has that gift naturally. She just is witty when she writes and it's fun to read. But keep in mind that what we do as professionals is actually doing keyword research towards the audience that you want to generate. Write the blog towards that audience so that they'll find it, or that Google at least. See, we always say we know 3 people will read it: Google, Yahoo, and Bing, right? We know they're going to read it. And so we want to make sure that they're reading the target market that you want to show up for, and then find that person on the homepage of Google and being number 1, number 2. So if your blog gets like 0 hits, it's still valuable because Google read it, they know who you want, and they see that fresh content coming out a couple of times a month. So if you are going to write your own, make sure you're thinking about the audience first, making sure that it's on mission with what you want for your business. And if you're hooking up with a marketing agency like us, make sure we know what kind of audience you want so that we're on mission for you, right? Yes, so a guy we won't mention, Paul Holbrook, Farmers Insurance, Oregon City. He had a 1-star review. I think if you've been in business over a year or 3 years, you're gonna get that client, right? And funny enough, the 1-star review usually comes from a client that if they were any other personality type, they would have given you a 5-star review. But for some reason, they just decided, you didn't call me back a day, you know, and I got a 5-star, or I gave you a 1-star review because I didn't think you were gonna call me back. Then when you did call me back, I didn't take the time to take it off. It's crazy. So Paul, you literally stayed away from your Yelp account for how long? Like a year?
A year. Yeah.
A year. So for 1 year, Paul was a 1-star guy. And you don't realize, one thing we like to talk about is, you know, businesses get stood up all the time because we don't realize the business we're not getting. We only realize the business we are getting because that's what we know about. When I met with Paul, I'm like, we gotta bury this thing. You know, you can't get a hold of Mary Jane to get the 1-star gone. Just bury it with 5-star reviews. And within 2 months or so of a campaign with your current clients, he was a 4.8-star agent again, right? Because he does great work. We just need to get the message out there and get his clients involved. Well, then how much business in that year since, now it's been 2 or 3 years, I guess, but how many clients have you gotten directly from Yelp?
I would say that I get at least 2 calls a month from people who have looked us up and they'll say, hey, well, we looked you up on Yelp. Because for whatever reason, it's magic how that goes into Google reviews and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And it's magic. So we get at least 2 clients a month or 2 call-ins a month where they say, you know something, we looked you up on Yelp and you know, you weren't too objectionable. You know, and okay, great.
Okay, so for 24 calls, like would you, is it 50% close ratio or?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're getting 12 new clients a month
Right.
or a year.
Yeah.
So you're getting at least a new client every month passively
Right.
from Yelp.
That's right.
So he was losing for how many years since that 1-star?
Who knows how bad I was losing?
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah.
so it's crazy ROI right there. And you're not doing anything now to generate because it's kind of been cyclical. Your office knows to say, hey, will you review us? Will you like us on Facebook, etc. A lot of times, guys, in offices, there's just no plan to put your clients through that experience, or as soon as they're done, they check out and they're gone. There's no plan to follow up and say, hey, was it a great experience? Would you share that? And once you put that plan in place, it's very simple. And then your reviews go off the hook. And the next thing you know, you're getting business. Like we integrated that into our plan, and we're
That's
like,
exactly what that speaks to, marketing automation.
you want,
So, the last question we had is, what is marketing automation? And it's exactly what they're talking about. So we offer a service that does exactly that. It streamlines your marketing, more so your reviews. So the way that it works is you can use it for a couple of different things. Client management, which is huge for a lot of businesses. I don't know how many businesses I go to and they still have folders of all their clients, and they're writing emails down and trying to get, you know, emails here and match it to the folder there. And so this will take all of your clients, put them into one location. You can use it to send out, you know, specials or just news, info about the business. It's great to ask for referrals. You can incentivize the referrals as well. But the biggest thing that it does is it automates your review process. So the moment you capture somebody's email, let's say I wrecked my car, I go into CJ, I fill out my form, what's your email, okay, put it in there. Then the moment I leave, it's set up so that I get a message saying, hey, how was your experience? Please rate it on a scale of 1 to 5.
You know what we could do? I'll snag your emails and I'll just put you in our system and you'll see it in the next day or two.
So you'll see exactly how it works. It'll say on a scale, 1 to 5 stars, how well did we do? Well, it was a great job, so I give either 4 or 5 stars. The next screen that I see says, tell me about your experience. Well, I love the fact that they did exactly what they said they were gonna do. It came in on time and it was the price that they quoted me at. Done. Okay, next screen, where would you like to post that review? Facebook, Google+, Yelp. I simply click 1, click 2, it goes there. Now, in the transverse, let's say that I have a bad experience, right? For whatever reason, I rate you 3 stars or less. The next screen I see asks me to tell you about your experience. From there, it does not ask me to post it. It simply submits and says thank you, and that email goes directly to the owner, so you have a chance to mitigate that before it gets out. So you can call that client or reach out to that client and find out what it is, because a lot of times it's simply just miscommunication. I was told one thing, or I heard this, and this is what I thought it would be. That's not the way that it worked. So typically you can kind of rectify that by reaching out to the client and talking to them. But the biggest thing is it alleviates some of those smaller miscommunications, because if you really tick somebody off, and I'm sure we've all done this too, you're gonna go to the world and back to make sure that everybody knows how wronged you were. So this kind of puts a little bit of a stop to that. And then it also gives people the platform to make it very easy to be able to wave your flag. So marketing automation is amazing. Like Mark said, we can grab some emails and everybody will get one. You'll see how well it works.
Yeah, it's cool. It's smart. So like if you do give us the review, it will wait a little bit before it prods you for the next one or whatnot. So it doesn't just spam you. Guys, nice job. That was a lot of questions.